Welcome viewers, this is Brandon.
And Jake from Luminary TV.
Today we're going to be sharing our first impression on Koei Tecmo's up-and-coming action RPG, Nioh. This game was developed by Team Ninja, famous for producing Ninja Gaiden, which was notorious for its fast-paced combat and gameplay with high difficulty. This gives us high expectations for this game. Nioh is about William, our superstar Western samurai protagonist, and takes place sometime during the Sengoku era of Japan.
Alright guys, we're just going to jump right into it. We're going to talk about the different aspects of the game. We're going to talk about the things we liked, the things we disliked, and hopefully by the end of the video, you'll have a better understanding of what Nioh is all about. Alright Brandon, our first aspect is the art style and the environment. What do you think about this?
Well, the art style is definitely something to think about. I'm not exactly sure how I feel about it just yet, but there's a lot of cool aspects in the game. For example, I definitely dig the Eastern style and setting. I love the samurai armor and weapons, the ninjutsu included is pretty interesting. I'm not exactly sure what direction they're planning on taking right now, but as a first impression, my biggest tripe is that a lot of it is very plain. I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Like, the whole environment is kind of, it doesn't appeal to me. I mean, it's a beautiful environment and it has, great waterworks. The graphics are top notch, but it doesn't bring me in like the Dark Souls series. That gothic kind of feel. It tells a story as you walk through it. This desolate land that tends to just take lives. Here you're just in like forest in Japan, and it doesn't really give me enough, to make it worth it,
I agree. I can see where you're coming from. The thing with the art style for me is the environment is probably my biggest complaint. Everything about it is very bland. There's not a lot of things to catch your eye. The maps, very, very cookie cutter to me. The building textures are solid, but for a PS4 game in 2016, I think it needs a lot of catching up. On that note, the gameplay is solid. Phenomenal, absolutely. The fighting is probably one of my favorite aspects of the game. I think it improved a lot in comparison to Dark Souls, which what it seems like is everyone is comparing this game to. I can see the similarities, however, if I had to choose, this would be my preferred combat system.
It's a great combat system, the fluentness, the speed that you kind of get through fighting all these guys. You have a loaded arsenal with you. You can play with axes, bow and arrows, katanas, spears, and all of the weapons feel so different from each other. When we were fighting against a guy with a spear, I was always hesitant on fighting that guy because spears have so much range to them that they kill you so quick, and it kind of gets really annoying. It gets to that Dark Souls kind of aspect of dying and retrying again, but yeah, weapons bring a whole new feel to this game.
Right, I agree, and the vast array of weaponry that is included, along with the multitude of fighting styles that each weapon has, definitely contributes to the factors of this combat. I honestly think this game is thriving strictly on its combat so far.
I like how the katana, you have 4 different stances: high, mid, and low. They all change how the combat is played and how much damage you do and whatnot. And the 4th one is you just sheathe your sword, and his animation that he does when he sheathes his sword, he wipes off all the blood, puts it back in, and I think that's so badass.
Right, it definitely contributes to the lore of being a samurai.
Yeah. But that difficulty though, what do you think?
Oh yeah, that difficulty. You would play Dark Souls for days and days, think you're the best, think you're the shit, and then you'll play this game thinking oh, no problem, I got this, I kill people on the reg. Nope, you're still gonna die a lot, I promise you that. The difficulty is there, and seems to me like it is there to stay, too.
Honestly, if you played a lot of Dark Souls, you'll be familiar with how much you die, and in this game, it's no different, but I think that this difficulty is probably just as rewarding as Dark Souls, but it could be even better.
Yeah, kudos to Team Ninja for keeping up their standard on difficulty.
Yeah, they don't let you pussyfoot around some games. Ninja Gaiden looking ass.
And the controls definitely add to the difficulty. You look at it at a first glance and you think, oh, okay, this shouldn't be too hard, but honestly, it takes a little getting used to. Fighting with the face buttons instead of the shoulder buttons are definitely a change up that I was not used to. But, switching in between stances, switching to alternate weapons, it works out eventually, but it is, as I said, it takes some getting used to, for sure.
Yeah, the controls are a bit confusing at first. But I feel as time goes on, as you progress through the game and you get a feel for the game, you'll definitely get a feel for all the controls and what every control do. Like the start button does your gestures, your circle button is typically your action button, is what you grab stuff with. R1 and square, you change your stances when you're holding a katana. I'm not exactly sure if it's for like a spear or anything else, but I just know it's for the katana. But every button has a purpose in this game. Sometimes it's a little overwhelming at first, but I'm just glad they give us the option of playing how we want,
Right.
in whatever which way.
Now, pertaining to the AI and hitboxes, I would definitely say they're pretty good. You take hits all the time and you hit the enemies often, and you realize that most of the time it really is because your weapon or their weapon hit you. You don't really feel the need to call out bullshit on most of your deaths. However, I do expect to die a lot. It's gonna happen, but when I was playing it, I just feel that I wasn't as angry. And the AI it's there. I mean, Koei Tecmo games weren't ever really known for their AI, but they're there. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, on the AI, they are there, as you said. We are here, if you guys didn't know. But on the AI, they are typical Dark Souls minions. They kind of, they adapt to your movements. I mean, they're no pushovers. You will die from
absolutely.
them. You would die from them a lot, no matter what. But you can easily take them down. But there's also these enemies. I forgot these red.
The graveyard enemies. I'm not exactly sure what they were called. I'm just gonna call them a remnant. But their AI is definitely sporadic. You can't really expect a pattern. It can definitely vary, and you'll find yourself trying to dodge a move that you think he's going to do, and in reality, he comes at you with something completely different.
Oh, completely different. A lot of the time, you would summon them because they're like, I guess they're death, or they have a sword or some sort of summoning stone, some sort of thing. You summon them, they fight you, and yeah, I feel like they don't have a certain
pattern.
For
sure.
Yeah, they don't have a certain pattern that they fight you in. They come at you in totally different ways, depending on their weapon and depending on how much armor they have and whatnot. I find that really interesting.
Yeah, definitely a lot of the fights. Definitely one of the more excitable things in fighting is because summoning these gravestones, whatever you call them. But the experience that you get from them, very rewarding. You feel like a badass. You feel like a total samurai. And when you slay your guy and sheath your sword, you just feel even cooler. So,
all right. Now, how do you feel about the boss battles in the game? We have only made it to the first boss battle, and I personally thought that the boss was really cool. The mechanics were really fast. They made you dodge. I hate to bring back Dark Souls, but it's a very typical Dark Souls boss.
Yeah, with the first boss, there's a limited move set for him, but he definitely has enough. I think it was definitely a challenge, and it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the fight. You weren't really expecting what he was going to do, but once you figured out all his moves, you'll learn what it takes to get what you need to defeat your opponent. But with that being said, you can't really figure out what he might do because, just like in this clip, he goes for this move and he eats my head off, and I get up, and then he does the same thing again. But it doesn't always happen that way.
Yeah, bosses, I guess they can be cheap at times, but that's just what you get for playing this type of game.
Right. I mean, it also adds to the reward factor in the long run. But my first impression on the first boss is they're heading in the right direction. And I've actually seen some clips. I've played a little bit of the second boss, and she's hard, difficult. Let me tell you what. Now for the music, it's pretty good. I like the ambient feel that they're headed in. You know, the direction they're using. I feel it's not as exciting as it could be. You definitely get a feel for the environment. You know, it fits the setting well, but I just feel it's almost a little too plain. It's not necessarily my cup of tea, I suppose, but it is not, in any sense of the word, bad.
Honestly, it's just not memorable. Like, there's no...
Definitely.
I can't point my finger and be like, oh, that's that song from this game, because it stood out so well and so nice. It kind of like made a memory in my head. But this game, the music doesn't really do that. It sets the scene, it sets the tone well.
Right.
But that's pretty much it. Okay, now final thoughts on the game. What do you think, Brandon? What is your overall opinion? What do you think that they can improve on? What do you think that they need to change?
I like it, you know. I'm definitely going to get the game when it releases. I think it's an enjoyable experience. It's just, when it comes to things I would improve, you know, there's definitely a list. It's not the complaints are huge or anything. It's really minor to me. I feel like, you know, just improve maybe the textures, put a little more things on the map to make it a more eye-popping. The bosses are good. The music is okay. The fighting is excellent. It's just, look at it from a bigger picture. You just want to touch up on all the little things. As for a beta, it's definitely where it needs to be right now.
So you're definitely going to buy the game?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely.
Well, my final thoughts on the game. I think this game is fantastic for what it is. It's I want to say a Dark Souls clone, but not really. It has enough unique aspects to it. Things that will bring you in and keep you interested, you know, the upgrading clothes, weapons, so like the big arsenal. But now I just want to see the longevity of this game. What'll keep us here and keep us coming back playing this game over and over. Am I really gonna get my $60 worth? That is probably gonna be later on once the game comes out. But so far I have high praise for this game.
Right. High hopes are coming.
The gameplay is fast, the bosses aren't any pushovers, and neither are the NPCs. The environment could use some work, could use some development, but sadly in this beta we didn't get any stories, so no idea what William's story is.
Right, we didn't really get too much of the story from the beta, and another thing is, since there's not very much of an open world and you're selecting your levels, I definitely feel like they should be putting more effort into the environment.
Oh yeah, just giving it more fleshed out needs and giving it a better feel, making it feel more lively, I guess. Like it could take cues from Way of the Samurai, you know.
Absolutely. I think one of my biggest fears is I don't know how it's going to be further down the line. I just really hope that we don't see a lot of reused maps and textures and models. I just hope that we really end up getting a variety of things. And if they really do pull that off, then this game is definitely going to turn out great in my book.
Yeah, that would be honestly the make it or break it point for us. But, you know, that's our opinions, that's our first impressions. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to leave a comment down below. Let us know what you guys think of this game and why. Anyways, I'm Jake, that's Brandon.
Stay lit.
Stay lit, fam.